have something you need to see.
I am currently $145,533 in debt.
Debt. Afterpay. Student loan debt. I'm literally broke. I'm literally broke. Broke. I don't have no money saved.
Unfortunately, there are so many people that are not just in student loan debt, but just in credit card debt in our generation, and we're drowning. So funny how our generation is facing this debt. I see people saying absolutely need to get out of debt. I'm not spending money on anything else. And then I see the other people, which is like, this debt is not getting paid off. It's so expensive to live in the United States at current. What else are you supposed to do when your monthly expenses cost more than you make? With our generation being faced with such high living costs, it has forced a lot of people to live above their means. People always say, don't live above your means if you don't have enough money. Well, in our current economy, that is not possible. It's physically not possible for a lot of people to live below their means, even if they wanted to. I've noticed that nowadays it's become increasingly more accessible for pretty much anyone to get their hands on $5,000 credit limit from pretty much anywhere. I've always been a person that has not been in that much debt. The most amount of debt I've been in is $300, and that's because that was the max that I had on a credit card that I got when I was literally 17 years old. It was my first training credit card from Capital One, and I barely used it. I didn't know what to do with it. A few years later, I used it up and couldn't even afford to pay the minimum monthly payments, which were like $20 a month. I've applied to other credit cards since then, and I'm pretty sure they look at my records and say, this girl couldn't even pay $20 a month for a $300 credit card limit. Why would we give her $1,000? And honestly, it makes perfect sense. But I was so frustrated because I couldn't even get a credit card when everyone I knew had $1,000 or more, and I was stuck with a $300 limit. Until this year, I've never been able to get more of the limit. I know a friend that has been using Affirm to pay for things, and I did not ever think to use Affirm because I was like, I'm not going to get qualified for any money on Affirm. I get on Affirm, and immediately they off the bat gave me $5,000. So easy to get your hands on $5,000 if you need it at any time. But it's going to take you 10 years to pay it down on a 30% interest rate unless you throw all your money at it the next time you get paid. Most people that are in large amounts of debt like this are not just spending it on frivolous things, actually spending it on their monthly normal bills, expenses, things that they need to live. With the lack of villages and family support nowadays, there are so many people out here doing it all alone. They have no one to turn to, no community, no one that can drop them off at work, no one that can feed them when they're hungry, and so they have to turn to pulling out credit card for buying groceries, paying their water bill, and paying rent, just so that they can actually get a job where they, mind you, need to have a residential address for and needs to have reliable transportation, which is just not realistic for everybody.
I really feel like I'm never gonna get a job again. I'm so scared because I have been unemployed for 3 months. I'm not eligible for unemployment because I just moved here. I am so stressed out. This has never happened to me before.
It's also extremely discouraging to not have much of a support system, and then to feel like the only way for you to be able to pay your bills this month in order for you not to get evicted or in order for you to eat, or to take out a loan that you are essentially not going to be able to pay off. And with the large amounts of greedflation going on, at this point, it feels like so many people have to resort to putting themselves deeper into a hole just to stay afloat. A lot of Gen Zers that really do care, that want to try and pick up all these different side hustles and work multiple jobs just to try and pay down their debts as fast as possible, which is so, honestly, the way that most people say that you should go, but that is not even possible for a lot of people out here. And you'll listen to these finance people say, just pick up another job, work 3 jobs.
Stuck. I don't want to get an apartment I can't afford, but then I don't want to work like 2 jobs. And I mean, if I have to, I will, but I just feel like I can't afford it.
You have to. Until you get a better job, you're going to be working 2 or 3 jobs.
You know, stop paying for Starbucks. Let everything in your life go. Sell everything you own in order to get out of debt. It's like, you can't pay for your monthly expenses. Just make more money. You're homeless? Buy a house. Are you broke? Don't. You're in debt because you couldn't pay your monthly expenses? What are you? Lazy? It's just unbelievable. Look. If you have the ability to get out of debt, you were given a privilege. Privilege isn't always a bad thing. Saying someone is privileged doesn't always mean they didn't work for it. It's a privilege to have a car. It's a privilege to have the ability to gain more skills, to go make more money, to all of that. It's unfortunate for those that don't have those privileges and just have to struggle through it, and nobody cares about them. Now, there are people that go into debt because they're living above their means. A lot of people are forced to live above their means because they can't find an apartment in their area less than $2,000. But some people are living above their means to try and make it seem like they have more than they do. Going into debt for gifts, going into debt for holidays, going into debt for more of an expensive car than you needed. Want to have fun with your money. Like we should all be able to pay all our bills and see the beach at least once a year. Having nice things is something that we all aspire to have in one way or another. Now, your type of nice things might not be the same as mine and whatever, but we all want things that are going to make us feel better about having to spend every day of our waking lives slaving it away to someone else's company while we get paid scraps and they're somewhere in Dubai making billions of dollars. But there are a lot more people than are ready to admit it that are living a luxury lifestyle. They are neck deep in debt. Most of the people that are able to automatically afford the newest and best thing coming out are not just buying it right out. They're on some type of payment plan. They want to have nice things more than they care about staying out of debt. Some people spend their entire life living this lifestyle and you never know it. All it looks like is that, wow, like they're making way more money than you, when really could actually be poorer than you because they are deeper in the negatives in regards to debt than you are. These are the people that are least likely to admit how much debt they're in, versus the person that was struggling financially and had to be in debt in order to pay their bills, in order to survive, in order to buy food. Those people that were struggling financially that talk about their debt, I feel like they're least embarrassed about it because they had to go into debt in order to survive and no one can fault them for that. Versus the one that is in optional debt, but who cares? Like, I'm driving a nice car and I got to go to all these experiences. Meanwhile, everyone around me that refuses to go into debt are driving cheap cars and they don't ever get to go out of town. And they also aren't as stressed as me. I'm not going to look like I live in my means. That would make me look poor. I'm not going to look poor. I'm going to look like I make more than I do. I have to stay on top. If I don't stay on top, I'm going to crash out. Last and final boss of loans that are like the buy now, pay later. Finance this couch. Finance everything in your house so that you don't own any of it. And as soon as you miss a couple payments, we're going to come knocking on your door to take it all back. I can't go inside of a single store without there being a finance option. Everything is leased in our generation. Everything is a subscription. Everything is monthly. We cannot do a one-time payment for anything. In my opinion, a subscription is the same thing as a loan. This is bottomless money leaving me. Bottomless. Like, where's the end? Where is the end? I mean, most of us are so worried about trying to cut out the little things that we like throughout our week. going to Chipotle sometimes, going to Starbucks, going to get that mascara you've been wanting. We try to cut out everything. You cannot out budget a trash economy. I do believe that there are a lot more opportunities for our generation than we give ourselves credit for. We do have the internet and we can put up content and we can try and make money in different ways. But all of that, of course, takes time. With greedflation, the wealth gap, and the fact that everyone can easily go into debt has just completely screwed up our entire generation. But what do I know? I'm just a black girl with an iPhone drinking coconut water in her car. Well, if you'd excuse me, I'm going to go inside and purchase my Shein cart with Affirm because I need winter clothes and it's rough out here.